It happens every morning. You grab your keys, put on your shoes, and head for the door. And right then, your dog changes. They pace, they whine, they bring you a toy. They sit and stare with wide, pleading eyes. Sometimes they even block the door or curl into a corner. To you, it looks like simple behavior. To them, it's so much more. Here's the truth most owners don't realize. Dogs know when you're about to leave, and the way they act in that moment is filled with meaning. Sometimes it's love, sometimes it's stress, sometimes it's heartbreak. And once you understand what your dog is really saying before you leave, you'll never see those moments the same way again. Let me start with a story. A woman named Laura had a golden retriever named Daisy. Every morning, as Laura put on her coat, Daisy would grab a slipper and run around the living room barking. Laura thought it was silly, a quirky morning game. But over time, Daisy began chewing furniture, barking non-stop while Laura was gone, and even injuring herself trying to claw the door. When Laura finally asked a trainer, she learned the truth. Daisy wasn't being playful. She was desperately trying to cope with separation anxiety. What Laura mistook for cuteness was really pain. And Daisy isn't alone. Countless dogs send quiet signals before we leave, signals that reveal exactly how they feel inside. Today, we're uncovering the real reasons why dogs do what they do before we walk out the door. Stay with me until the end, because the final truth is the hardest one to hear, and it may just break your heart. The first reason is anticipation. Dogs are masters of routine. They notice the sound of keys, the rustle of coats, the zip of bags. To us, they're just small actions. To dogs, they're loud signals that say, "You're leaving me again." When you see your dog pacing or following you closely as you prepare to go, it's not random. They've connected the dots. Every movement tells them what's coming next, and their reaction is a mix of worry and longing. The second reason is love. Dogs form bonds so deep that scientists call it attachment, similar to a child's attachment to a parent. When they sit by the door or stare at you before you leave, they're not just watching. They're expressing their devotion. They want to be with you every moment. And in that instant before you step away, they're silently saying, "Please don't go. You're my world." The third reason is stress. For some dogs, departure triggers anxiety. They may whine, bark, drool, or even shake. These aren't bad habits. They're signs of panic. To your dog, you leaving feels like being abandoned by the only one they trust. Imagine how terrifying that would be. What looks like clinginess is actually a cry for help. The fourth reason is distraction. Have you ever noticed your dog bringing you a toy right before you leave? It's not always play. Sometimes it's distraction. Dogs sense your departure, and toys become a way to cope with the sadness. They offer it to you as if to say, "Stay and play instead. Don't leave me yet." What feels like cuteness is actually a survival strategy for their heart. The fifth reason is guarding. Dogs see themselves as protectors. When you leave, they know they can't guard you. That helplessness often shows up in behavior before you walk out. They pace the door, stand in your way, or bark as if warning you not to go. To them, it feels unsafe to let you walk into the world without their watchful eyes. The sixth reason is memory. Dogs don't forget. If you've left them alone before for long stretches, they remember the loneliness. That memory comes rushing back the moment you grab your keys. Their behavior is shaped by past experience. Every sigh, every whimper is connected to times they sat waiting, hours on end, wondering when or if you'd return. The seventh reason is instinct. In the wild, pack animals rarely separate. Wolves, for example, travel together for survival. Dogs carry that instinct in their DNA. When you walk out alone, it goes against everything they're wired to expect. Their reaction, whether whining, barking, or even just staring, is a natural response to separation that feels unnatural to them. The eighth reason is confusion. Sometimes dogs don't understand why you're leaving. They know they can't come, but they don't know why. That confusion creates frustration. They may bark, scratch, or circle because they can't process the separation. To them, your departure doesn't make sense. And confusion always hurts. The ninth reason is hope. Not every pre-departure behavior is sad. Some dogs wag their tails, bring leashes, or stare with excitement. Why? Because sometimes leaving means something fun, like a walk, a ride, or an adventure. Dogs live on hope. Every time you pick up keys, they wonder, is this the moment I get to come with you? That hopeful look is powerful, but also heartbreaking when it ends in disappointment. And then there's the final reason, the one that hurts the most. When your dog acts differently before you leave, they're reminding you of one truth. To them, your absence is the hardest part of life. You may only be gone a few hours, but to your dog, those hours feel like forever. Every departure is a little heartbreak, and every return is the highlight of their day. Let's go back to Daisy, the golden retriever. Once Laura realized Daisy's morning slipper game was actually anxiety, she made changes. She started leaving toys that released treats, gave Daisy walks before leaving, and practiced short absences to build trust. Over time, Daisy's anxiety eased. She still noticed when Laura left, but instead of panic, she learned to feel safe. That's the lesson for all of us. Our dogs can't change their instincts, but we can change how we respond. We can ease their stress, shorten their loneliness, and show them that leaving never means abandonment. So the next time your dog whines, stares, or brings you a toy before you leave, don't brush it off. Don't laugh it away. Look closer. Behind that behavior is a mix of love, fear, and hope. It's not just dog stuff. It's their heart speaking. Because here's the truth. Dogs don't measure time the way we do. They don't check the clock or count hours. They only know two states, together and apart. And when you're about to leave, they feel the weight of apart more than we'll ever understand. Your dog's world is built around you. Every glance, every wag, every sigh before you leave is a reminder of how deeply you matter. The truth hurts because it shows us how much our absence affects them. But it also inspires us to make every return more joyful, every goodbye less painful, and every moment together more meaningful. So the next time your dog does that thing before you leave, don't ignore it. Acknowledge it. Comfort them. And remember, you are their everything. And to them, the moments before you leave are not just routine. They are love, longing, and hope all wrapped into one.